Hello friend, welcome back. In our previous video, we successfully add our product in our cart area. If you go to our database, into the database in our cart, so into the cart area, right now they have the 3 product. And also for this cart, it's automatically generated one of the orders. So that is our order object. Into the order object, you can see that is all that our product is now visible. And this order actually the false. And also if you go to our cart, into the cart area, our purchase is now false, right? So now I want to get all that our cart product, that means all that cart product, and I want to visible it in our this cart area. So for the reasons here, I want to create one of the page for this, and here I want to view it, right? So if you want to do that work, you have to work in our order, that means our app order, go to our view. And into the view area, I want to create one of the function. So it should be also as a logging required. So after this, here I want to define one of the view that is a locking required, and here I create one of the function, and I just name that function as a cart view, cart underscore view. Okay friend, and also here we have to pass our request. So I just simply pass that request, and now first of all we have to filter all that our data, right? So here I have already all the data in our card, and also I have some of the data in our order. So first of all, here we have to filter all that object. So now I want to do that work. So here I take one of the object name as a cart. Okay, I just name it as a carts, and into the carts area with our cart, that means in our cart model. So I have already loaded our model. You can say I have already loaded our cart model and the order model. So with this card we will get all that our cart data, and also with this order we will get our all that order data. So right now I want to define our cart. So with this cart here I define as objects. So objects, and then I define as a filter. So I just simply define that filter, and it should be filtered this user actually the requested user or not. So for the reasons here I define that user would be as our requested user, right? And also if you go to our cart, into the cart area, if you open it, and into the purchase area, by default I make that things as a false, right? So here we have to defining it. So after that here also define as a purchased. So that means the purchased will be as a false. So I just simply define as a false. And also we have to define the same things for our order. So I just name it as order, and then with our order model. So with this order model, I define that our objects, and then filter. I just simply define the filter, and also it should be filtered our user. That means our user is the requested user. So it should be as a requested user. And also if you go to our order, into the order you can see there is also ordered. So this order should be as a false, because of all when it should be as a check mark, that means this is that order actually already complete, right? So right now I have to also defining it. So all that our pending order we have to get, right? So for the reasons here I want to define our ordered, that means our ordered field will be as a false. So I just simply define that as a false. Okay friend. And now I want to define one of the condition. If our card, that means if our card area, if they have any product is exist, and also in our order area if there's any order is exist, then I want to get all that our object data. So for the reasons here I want to define one of the if condition. If our cards, okay, if our cards is exist, so if our cards is exist and also order. So this order, better I want to make the things as a multiple, as a orders. Okay, if this our cart is exist and if our order is exist, so I just simply define as exist. So here I have to defining it. So that means in our cart it's exist, and also and our order is exist. So if they have any card in our cart area, if they have any order in our order area, then what exactly it should be do? It should be get this data by the object. So here I define that our this order, and then our order object data. So orders, so this orders object data I want to get, so that will be as a 0. Okay, so here I just converted it, and after this I have to define the return, and it should be return render one of the page. Okay, that means here I want to display some of the page, all that our card details. So here I define the render. So I just simply define as a render, and render will be with the request, and here I want to pass some of the page. So that will be in our app, that means in our app order. So into the app order area, in our template, into the template, that means in our app order area, I want to create one of the file. I just name it, I just create one of the file as a cart.html. Okay, so I just simply name it as a cart.html. So now I have to define that link, so that will be as a cart.html, right? And also here we have to pass our all that cart data. That means we have to pass it with the context. So with this context, I want to pass our, first of all, that will be our carts. That means these carts, all the data. And here I just simply pass it. And also we have to pass our orders. So I just simply pass that orders. Okay friends, so if he get any data, then it should be passed that data into the cart area, that means in our cart.html. Else, that means when this condition will be not works, that means if there have no cart data, or rather than if they have no order data, then I want to define one of the else condition. Else it should be show some of the message actually. So I just simply define the messages, and with these messages it should be as a warning. Okay, I just name it one of the tag as a warning tag, and into the warning tag area I just pass that request, and it should be show some of the message as a you don't have any item in your cart. So this type of one of the message it should be display. Okay, and after that I want to return it. So I just simply return as a return redirect to our home page. It should be redirected. So our home page I have defined in our app shop. That means in our app shop, our home. So I just simply defining it on here. Okay friends, so here if we get an existing data, then it should be returned to our cart.html page. Else it should be display this type of one of the warning message as a you don't have any. So better any. Okay, you don't have any item in your cart. And then it should be redirected to our app shop homepage. So now we have to create our this page, that means in our app order, that is our cart.html. So now go to our app order, and that means app order, that is our cart.html. So here now we have to visible all that our cart product. So first of all, I think you already know about it. Here we have to added our extendeds, right? That is extends. So I just simply define the extend, and it should be extend our which one, base HTML. So I just simply define as a base HTML. And also after that we need our body block. So I just simply define as a block, and block will be our body underscore block. Okay, I just simply define as a body block, and also we have to end this body block. So here I just simply define as a and block. Perfect. So now in particular that area I want to define some of the div. So here I define one of the bootstrap class as a container. Okay, container, and then my5. So I just simply define as a container my5, and then I take another div, and here I define that class as a my5. So that is actually our my5. Okay, and then I also want to define one of the h2 tag, and here I define as your cart. So your cart, this type of one of the text I want to visible. And after this div, okay, after this div, here I take one of the table, and in the table area I define one of the bootstrap table class. Okay, bootstrap table class as a table, and table hover. So I just name it as a class on the table hover. Okay, and then we need our t head. So I just simply define as a t head. So that is all that HTML code. I think you already know about it. If you have any idea HTML and the CSS, so that is pretty much basic all that code. So into the tr area I define as a th. Okay, and into the th area I define one of the scope. Okay, I just simply define the scope. Scope will be as a cool, and then also I make the things as a hash. That will be actually our serial, all that code. Okay, and better I also want to define some of the wide for this one, because it will be very small size. So I just simply define as a wide, and wide will be as a I just make as a 15%. Okay, 15%, this type of things which will be visible. And also after that I take another th, and also here I define one of the scope. So our scope will be as a cool, and here I want to show some of the name. Better I copy it, because here I want to display the product name, the product quantity will be needed, right? So I just name it as a product name, and also I want to show that quantity. So I just name it as a quantity and also the price. Okay, I just name it as a price. And also I want to take another one. I take another one for our remove button. So we have to also remove it. If you want to remove that cart from to the cart list, then you have to defining it. So I just simply define as a remove. So I just define something as a remove name. Okay, and that is our price. So price I want to make that align. So align, LICN, align will be in our, I make as a right. Okay, so it will be in our right position. That will be our price, and that is our remove button. Perfect. And after this, in our after that T head, okay, after this T head, I take another T body. So into the body area, I want to visible our everything. That means in our TR. So before this TR, I want to take all that our data. So here I have to define all the for each. So I just simply define that for each data, that is a for. I name it from to the view. I have passed that cards, right? So here I make it as a cart in cards. So now with this card we can actually visible all that our data, right? So now also after that here I want to AND it. So I just simply AND our for. So that is actually our AND for. Perfect. So now I want to visible our all that name. So here I define as a th, and into the th area, first of all, that is our hash. Hash means actually it should be automatically serialize that number. So if you want to serialize that, they have also one of the function. So they have also one of the function in Django, that is our for loop. That means the for loop counter. So that is with the for loop counter, it will be automatically created one of the 1 2 3 this type of one of the serial number. So now I just simply defining it, and also here I define our scope. Okay, I just simply define that scope will be as a raw. So that is all that bootstrap class. And also after this I want to take one of the TD, and into the TD area I want to display our name, that means our product name. So if you want to display that product name, you have to define that things with this card, right? So with this card here we have to define our this item name. If you go to our model, that means if you go to our app order models, and into the models here, that is actually our item. That means in our card, into the card, that is our item, right? So now I want to access our name, that means in our cart area, that is our item. That is also foreign key with our products. So into the products area, that is actually name. So if you now go to our products, that means if you go to our app shop, into the app shop, if you go to that model, and here you can see our product name I have defined as a name, right? So now we have to defining like that way. It should be first of all redirected to our item, that means in our cart item, and to the cart item I have already defined our foreign key with our products. So that will be our product name, right? So now I just simply defining it. It should be as a cart, and then our item, and then our name, that means our database field name as a name. And also I want to take another field. So I want to take another field. It should be I want to take our quantity, that means that is actually the quantity in our cart area. So with this cart, I want to display our quantity field. Okay, so I just simply define that field name. Perfect. And for the quantity here I also want to define that it should be as a plus minus. Okay, so this type of one of the FAFA icon I want to use. If you go to the FAFA, and here go here, and now go to that icons, and into the icons I want to use that plus minus. So here better I search it with the plus. Okay, plus. So that is our plus icon, that is our icon, that is a check mark icon. So I search it. So I search it, you can see that is actually our plus icon. So that is the icon I want to use. And also for the minus I want to use this minus. Okay, so better I open both of this. That is will be our plus, and that will be our minus icon. So now here I want to define both of these. That means in our cart area, so in our this TD option area, I want to define first of all as a href. Into the href area I define on the class. So our class will be as a mr2. I just simply define as a mr2, and here Here I want to define one of this pen. Okay, I define another span, and with the span area I define the class. So here I define as a bar G. That is actually the designing option, whatever you want. So I just simply define as a bar G, and then also as another one as a light. So I just want to use it as a light. Okay, and here in our particular that is pen area, I want to visible our this plus and the minus. So here that is our plus. So here I want to visible, first of all, in our left side it should be as a minus. So I just simply copy it, and here after this into this pen area I just simply paste it. Okay, so here that will be our 1, and also we have to define the same things for our minus. So better I just simply copy it. So after that is our quantity will be visible, and after this quantity I take another one, and it should be as our minus. That means that's plus, so that means this plus. So I just simply copy it, and here in our area I just simply update it as a fa plus. Perfect. So now first of all I want to check it, like here if you now click as a save all. So that is our server is now running, and now I want to do go here, refresh it. You can see I didn't define any link. So here also we have to create one of the URL first. So in our app order, into the app order, that is our URL. So into the URL area I want to create another URL. Better I just simply copy it, and here I just simply paste it. It should be as a cart. Okay, I just name it as a cart. And then in our view area I have already defined one of the function name as a cart view. So here I define our function name as a cart view, and I just name it as a cart. Okay, I just name it as a cart. So that is our app name as a app order, and that is our cart. So now I want to put this link. I want to put this link in our this navbar area. So now if you go to our navbar, that means that is actually our navbar, and here that is actually our cart. So into the cart area you can see there is also one of the href. So here I want to put this link. So I just simply define our URL. URL will be in our app underscore order. Into the app order I have created as a cart, right? So I just simply define that link. So now you can actually access it. Now click as a save all, because I have already some of the data in our cart, right? So this data should be visible. Now I just refresh it. Now go to our cart. Yeah, you can see it's now perfectly get all that our data from our database. So right now they have the 3 product, and you can see it's now also showing as a 3 product, and also it's now showing our perfect data. That means this product I have added that quantity as a 2. If you go to our database, there is a programming is thinking, you can see there is a quantity field as a 2. So right now it's perfectly visible our quantity as a 2. So now I want to add all that our price. So that is actually a price will be visible, and here I also want to define all that our grand total. So how can display it better? I want to continue this process. In our next video I will show you that things with a live example. So thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.